My father put my sister's studio folder directly on top of my parts invoice and kept his hand there, like the decision had already been made. "Evan," he said, "some dreams are ready. Some are still ideas." He didn't raise his voice. That made it worse. He taught me to hear a bad bearing before buying a car. He knew I wasn't guessing. That night, he chose not to count it. Lauren's folder looked expensive. Linden and Vale Creative Studio. Under it sat my $840 invoice for a silver sedan with a bad starter, a cracked mirror, and a trunk that smelled like wet carpet. It wasn't a dream car. It was what I could afford. My mother touched Lauren's folder and said, "Your sister has a real opening. The timing is finally right." Lauren looked down like she felt bad. Not enough to stop them. My father slid my invoice back toward me. "Cars will still be there later. This is her window." I remember that word. Window. Nobody noticed they were asking me to close mine. Lauren's dream sounded easy to respect. Mine sounded like oil, old tires, and Saturdays under hoods. She wanted the studio. I wanted a used car business, built on honest repairs, clean paperwork, and cars people could trust. Hers sounded like ambition. Mine sounded like a phase. So my family treated hers like a future, and mine like something I would grow out of. I didn't have investors or a sign. I had one old sedan, a notebook full of costs, and a name I wrote on the first page. Brindle Gate Autoworks. For 6 months, I saved weekend inspection money, grocery leftovers, and $100 from selling old tools. At the same time, I kept helping everyone else. I sent my parents $300 a month after my father's hours got cut, fixed Lauren's van twice for free, and stored her studio samples in my garage because she said it would only be for a week. When her studio photos got delayed, she said, "You're lucky you don't have clients waiting on a real space." She smiled like it was harmless. I told myself that was family. Then, one Thursday, I came home from a 12-hour shift and found my garage door open. My workbench had been shoved against the wall. My tools were in plastic bins. The sedan was outside, with the window still not sealed. Lauren had let herself in with the spare key my mother kept for emergencies. There was a note on my bench. "Needed the space for photos. Mom said you wouldn't mind." A storm had come through. Water had run inside the door panel I hadn't finished fixing. I didn't call anyone. I took pictures before I touched a thing. The boxes, the car outside, and the note in Lauren's handwriting. That was when I stopped explaining their behavior in the friendliest possible way. That year, I had sent my parents $3,600, given Lauren 11 Saturdays, and spent $412 on her van. The numbers told me I was carrying weight nobody counted. The next Sunday, my mother asked if I could help Lauren assemble 2 display tables. "I can't this weekend," I said. "Are you still upset about the garage?" "No," I said. "I'm working." By 7, the sedan was on jack stands. At 3:15, the engine finally turned over without choking. 9 days later, I sold it to a school custodian. I showed him every receipt and pointed out the dent. He said, "Nobody usually tells me the bad part first." After parts and fees, I made $318. That was the first money Brindlegate Autoworks ever made. I taped the deposit slip inside my notebook. At my parents' house, Lauren was building something. I was being difficult. Nobody said my monthly help kept their house steady while they funded her studio. They only noticed the support when it stopped moving. My father told my aunt I had gotten touchy about money. Lauren told my mother I was punishing her because she was finally ahead. Then she called me and said, "I need the van by Friday. Don't make this weird." "I can't fix it this week," I said. "So you're really going to act like this?" I looked at the blue compact in my driveway. "I'm booked," I said. After that, I withdrew in layers. First was money. I didn't make an announcement. I lowered the transfer for 2 months, then stopped it after the last bill I had promised to cover. I sent my mother one text. "I can't keep sending monthly help. I'm putting everything into the business now. She replied almost immediately. So Lauren is supposed to struggle alone? I read that twice. Not, are you okay? Not, what changed, Lauren? Second was access. I asked for my spare key back. My mother laughed. It's just a key, Evan. I need it back by Friday. When my father returned it, he looked into the garage. The sample chairs were gone. The sedan was gone too. A dull blue compact sat there with the hood up. Still doing this? He asked. Yes. Just don't let pride cost you family. I said, good night, Dad. After that, I withdrew my presence from places where I was only useful. I skipped Lauren's paint weekend, the plant pickup, the shelf install, and every dinner where they called my work small without saying it. Every hour I kept went back into the yard, the notebook, or the next car. Then I made my first real mistake. I bought a brown delivery van because the engine sounded clean. 2 days later, I found rust under fresh coating. Repairing it would wipe me out. Selling it quietly would make me what I hated. That same afternoon, Lauren posted a photo from her opening. The caption said, "Proud of our daughter for building something real." Real. I closed the app, called a scrapyard, and took the loss, $670. I wrote it down to remember what I was building. Not fast, clean. By the end of the first year, Brindlegate Autoworks had sold 19 cars and serviced 7 more, because people came back when I told the truth. My family still thought I was smaller. At Thanksgiving, my father asked if I was still flipping cars. Lauren said, "At least he's keeping busy." That night, I stopped explaining my work to people committed to misunderstanding it. A courier manager named Russell Hale brought me 3 aging cars. I told him 2 were not worth saving, and 1 was. Most shops don't talk themselves out of work, he said. Bad work comes back, I said. 3 months later, he brought 6 more. By winter, Brindlegate Autoworks had a small service agreement with his company, inspections, repair calls, and clean reports. That helped me apply for a larger yard with 4 bays. 2 days before we signed, Russell called me at 8:10 in the morning. His voice was careful. "Evan, did you tell anyone we were expanding the agreement?" My hand stopped on the office door. "No. Why?" "We got a message, anonymous, said you're a side operation with unstable records and family disputes around the business." Family disputes. There it was, dressed up to sound professional. Russell didn't ask who sent it. He asked for my logs, title records, repair notes, and ownership documents by noon. For 3 hours, every old sentence pressed against my back. Phase, idea, hobby, later. I sent Russell everything before 11:30. Then I sat in the office with the phone face up and watched it stay dark. At 4:46, his reply came in. "This is why we stay." I never asked my family about that message. I didn't need to. The old room still thought my name could be moved aside with a whisper. Then Lauren's studio hit a hard season. A client delayed payment. 2 deposits fell through. My parents had already given what they could. My father called on a Tuesday night. "Maybe you could help bridge her for a month." Bridge. A clean word for money that usually didn't return. "I can't do that," I said. He waited. I didn't fill the silence. "It's your sister." "I know. You seem to be doing well now." "I'm stable," I said. "That doesn't make my money available." His voice changed, not loud, colder. "So this was about proving a point?" "No," I said. "It was about building something without asking the room to believe in it first." For once, he had no answer. Then he said, "Your mother won't understand this." I know. The final turn wasn't at a family table. It happened in a regional vendor compliance office with beige walls, bad coffee, and documents clipped in blue paper. A medical transport company had selected Brindlegate Autoworks for a maintenance contract after verification. Our titles, safety certifications, references, and service records had cleared review. I didn't know Lauren and my parents were in the same building until the elevator opened. They stepped out with Lauren's portfolio case and a tight look I recognized. Later, I found out she was trying to register her studio for a local vendor program, and my parents had come to help explain missing records. But in that hallway, I saw my mother's face change when Denise Mercer, the compliance officer, walked beside me with my binder. "Mr. Carter," Denise said, "they're ready to finalize with Brindlegate. Your records made this easy. Clear ownership, clean logs, no outside confusion. That's rare at this size." My mother stopped walking. Lauren's hand tightened around her portfolio. My father looked at the binder, then at the people behind the conference room glass. For once, nobody could rename what I had built. Nobody could call it a phase. Nobody could slide my invoice under someone else's dream. My father looked back at Denise. "This is his company?" Denise seemed surprised by the question. "Yes," she said. "Fully his, and very well documented." The hallway went quiet in a way our kitchen table never had. Lauren looked down at her own folder, and this time the embarrassment had nowhere useful to go. No softer word waited for my father. Just a third party and paperwork my family couldn't shrink with opinion. The contract didn't make me rich overnight. Nothing clean works that way. It made Brindlegate real in a way my family could no longer explain away. 6 months later, we moved into a proper building. The sign said Brindlegate Autoworks in plain black letters, a name that had survived being treated like grease. My parents came one Saturday morning. My mother brought a bakery bag. Lauren didn't come. My father stopped at the wall where our license, fleet agreement, and first deposit slip were framed. He read them slowly. Then he turned. "I thought it was just an idea," he said. The shop was quiet. Morning sun crossed the concrete. A nurse was signing for a car we had repaired under estimate. I could have made my father feel small. I could have reminded him of the folder, the invoice, the garage, the key, the van, and the word window. But peace is not needing the room to lose before you can breathe. So I said, "So did I at first." Then I kept showing up. He looked back at the framed deposit slip. $318. The first money Brindlegate ever made. After they left, I carried the bakery bag to the break room. Then I walked back through the shop and lifted bay door number 1 into the morning. For years, they treated my dream like it needed permission to exist. That morning, nobody asked me to close my window. So I opened the door wider.
So yeah, if you have ever had to build something nobody believed in, I'm curious what that looked like. And thank you so much for watching this fictional story. Do let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And see you in the next. Take care. Bye bye.